One of the biggest mistakes most people make when starting out is trying to learn everything at once. Exposure, autofocus, light, composition, all the settings, all the gear is just too much. I don't blame you, that's totally normal. You get a new camera and get excited. You want to learn how to use it and you dive into everything. The truth is that approach is just slowing you down. Photography is like learning a new language. You cannot write a book if you don't know the grammar. And no, the grammar itself doesn't make a story great, but without it you can even start telling it. Same goes for photography. Technique alone will not make a powerful image, but if you cannot control your settings, you will not even get close to the photo you imagined. So here's the big shift. Instead of trying to master everything at once, let's break it down. Focus on one thing at a time. Practice it, and then week by week, stack your skills and build real progress. This is not a challenge, it's a system. And if you follow it, I promise it will work. The beauty of this plan is that you only need 2 sessions per week. That's it. One short session during the week, just 30 to 60 minutes, and one longer outing on the weekend, ideally somewhere that inspires you. But the key is this: each session needs a goal. You're not just going out with your camera to see what happens, you're going out to practice something specific. If you're working on exposure, don't worry if the subject is boring. You're studying light, don't panic if your composition sucks. That's not the point. The point is to train one single skill every time. A quick note before we dive into the plan: you don't have to remember all of these. I've made a free printable PDF with the full 10 weeks breakdown, complete with in-depth explanation and suggested exercise for each single outing. You can grab it from the link in the description. Let's now go through the plan week by week. Even if you are already a bit familiar with settings and techniques, I would still suggest to follow the plan, maybe trying to apply the concepts to a bit more challenging situations, but I would not skip any of the aspects. For the first 2 weeks, we start with the basics. Start by shooting only in manual mode and get familiar with it. Learn to read the exposure meter and the histogram. Once you're comfortable in full manual mode, move to aperture priority and manual plus auto ISO to start balancing control and simplicity. Learn how to use the exposure compensation to make the most of the camera automatic modes. When in tricky light conditions and not sure what to do, try shooting the same scenes, 3 different exposures: underexposed, neutral and overexposed. Then compare them later in your computer. This way you will see both what type of exposure works better in the different situations, and also you will start understanding the limits of your camera when it comes to highlights and shadow recovery. Now that you master exposure, it's time to work on the look of your photos. So go out and try freezing motion. Birds, bikes, dogs, anything that moves actually. Pick a moving subject and find the slowest shutter speed that allows you to get a sharp image. Then try doing the opposite. Use a slower shutter and show the motion in your pictures. Flowing water, traffic trails, people walking. To try panning, you don't need a cheetah running in front of your camera. Just find a trafficked road and try with the cars driving by. After shutter speed, try shooting the same subject at different apertures, so you will start to understand how the depth of field really works. Then in week 4, dive into autofocus. Switch from one shot to servo or AFC. Practice tracking things. Again, birds, people walking, a dog running around. You will probably mess it up at first, but that's good, that's how you learn. Once all your settings are under control, now it's time to train your eye. To start, go out with just one lens, or if you have a zoom, commit to a single focal length for the whole outing. Pick one subject and try to photograph it 5 completely different ways. You will need to move around, use leading lines, foregrounds, framing, negative space, and don't forget what you just learned over the last weeks. You can use aperture and shutter speed creatively to get different looks in your images. Way too often people blame where they live or the fact that they cannot travel to exactly locations for their poor photography skills. But you don't need amazing subjects for this, you just need curiosity and practice. In week 7 and 8, you will go deep into light and how to make the most of it. Pick a location and visit it at sunrise, midday, and sunset. Watch how the shadows change, how color shifts through the day. And, this is important, do not avoid midday light. Learn how to work with it. Try to use the contrast to your advantage. I know it's more difficult, but that's the whole point. You can try shooting in open shade or using backlight creatively. Now that the foundations are in place, it's time to work on something more specific to wildlife and street photography, but it will be useful regardless of what subjects you shoot. The exercise here will be to anticipate your subject. Instead of chasing moments, try to predict them. Find a subject, compose your frame, lock the focus, and wait for the good moment. Let the subject walk into the shot until it's in the right position. You're not reacting anymore, you're planning, and that changes everything. Now, this was just a quick overview. You will find more details in the PDF, so make sure you download it. You find the link down below. Okay, 10 weeks done, and now what? Well, you can just start from the beginning and repeat the cycle, but this time, raise the bar. Try more difficult light, faster subjects, push yourself compositionally. Maybe only allow yourself 20 shots per session, or shoot a whole session in black and white. That's how you evolve, not by being perfect, but by staying consistent and curious. If you stick with this for just a few months, I promise your photography will change completely. As always, feel free to drop any questions down in the comments and let me know if this plan will help you. And if you wonder whether your camera is good enough for this or should be updated, don't waste your money. I've made a full video where I explain exactly when you should consider a gear update and when not, so check it out.